The new leaders, once champions of the people, quickly embraced the very system they claimed to overthrow. Obert Mageba, a voice of the new world, now rode in a gleaming chariot of the old. He is invited to Bisopian parties to the very halls of power he once railed against. He joined them, not as an equal, but as one of their own. The Bisopians had built their world with a cold precision. The roads were straight, the schools were perfect, the neighborhoods were clean. They built it for themselves, and they understood how it all worked. They had created a system with a single language, their own. When the Bisopian government left, it took the language of the system with it. And a new government with new faces inherited a world they did not know how to maintain. They inherited a working system that they would, in their ignorance, destroy. The people had given their leaders patience, and the leaders had given them nothing but empty promises. The infrastructure built by the Bisopians crumbled, and with it, the people's hope.
Yaknese
The anger grew,
timber.
and soon the protests began. They demanded new leaders.
My people, your voices have been heard. Yes, our ways have failed you. But do not despair. We shall not choose leaders by killing each other, but we shall let you choose your own. We shall conduct elections, and you choose new leaders. I don't like that zebra guy. Deal with him.
The people had cried out for change, and change had come. The new democracy, a foreign system that has no roots in eNyathini, had not just welcomed the deceitful. It had invited the dangerous, the very animals Benyati had long known as their natural enemies. Obert Mageba had won the election again. And with this victory, he sealed the demise of Benyati traditions. He abandoned the old ways which were a burden of service. He traded it all for a promise of power. Selfless sacrifice became a forgotten language, replaced by the selfish chant of, "What's in it for me?" Joshua Zwelinzima, the one who carried the true spirit of eNyathini in his heart, passed away in silence. He died a hero without a home, the man they had cast out. The very man they had mocked was now useful to them in death. They claimed his body, gave him a hero's burial, and used his memory to sanctify their corrupt rule.
We mourn the great loss of a true patriot, a freedom fighter. He paved the way for the democratic Nyathiland we know today. Let us honor his memory by embracing the new way, the way of progress and unity.
With Joshua no longer present, Obert now wielded unchecked power, unburdened by Joshua's moral authority. The Bisopian order was not replaced by the people's choice. It was replaced by a more ruthless ambition. The lion, a symbol of power, would become the new police commissioner. The crocodile, a master of cunning, would be the new attorney general. And the hyena, with his insatiable hunger, would be put in charge of the banks. Obert Mageba did not rule by force alone. He ruled by cunning, and he ensured his cronies were well fed. While the people of Nyathiland struggled, the new elite feasted. Obert lived a long life, far from the suffering he had caused. He ruled until his time was done, growing old in luxury. And when Obert Mageba finally closed his eyes, the news trickled down to the struggling streets. A whisper of hope, then a murmur, then a fragile cheer. The people rejoiced, believing the old serpent was finally gone, and with him, perhaps, the dark times. They dreamed of a new dawn.
President Obert Mageba served our nation until his last breath. He built this new order, and now his vision lives on. There will be no weakness. There will be no uncertainty. I, Elson Kwena, now stand as your leader. The laws of this land are mine to command.
My darling, you have achieved so much. Locals fear you, the Bisapians fear you. Everyone listens to you. You are the future of this country.
I am the future, my darling. The old ways of kingship are gone. Power now lies with those who are not afraid to use it, sweetheart.
And you are right. But power is also about appearances, is it not? You have a beautiful mansion. You have the finest suits, the most expensive cars. But when you walk into the room, what do they see first? They see that.
My tail is a symbol of my strength. It is a part of who I am.
A part of who you were, perhaps. In the jungle, it was a weapon. In a boardroom with overseas investors, it is a curiosity, an anachronism. It is something they will laugh at behind your back. A leader does not give them a reason to laugh. A leader controls his image. A true leader molds himself to fit the role. He sheds what is unnecessary. He becomes perfect. I have found a place, a wonderful surgeon overseas. He is the best. He will make you perfect.
Then everyone will learn to fear it. They will learn that my power is not in who I pretend to be. It is in what I am. This tale stays, my darling.
The people, exhausted by betrayal, were so starved for hope that they clung to even the most poisonous of promises. The dissenters were soothed by his words, believing they had finally found a leader who would listen. They were wrong. The people had a new president and new promises. But while the wealthy drank champagne, the people had no water. While the leaders drove in their motorcades, the youth had no jobs. And so, in the hot, dusty streets of the township, the future of eNyathini was being gambled away, one dice throw at a time. For a time, the anger was a quiet thing. But when a community has nothing left to lose, anger becomes a weapon. It was not the elders, but the youth who finally rose up, marching not with spears, but with the courage of their conviction. They took their cries to the doors of the government departments and the gates of the mines. Elson Kwena, now known as E.T. Kwena, the president who promised to be a man of the people, would go on podiums and soothe them. He would use their hope against them.
I hear your cries. I see your suffering. By tomorrow, I will fix it. Trust in me.
But at night, he sent his goons to hunt the dissenters. He did not ask for votes or loyalty. He demanded silence.
You see, if you want to rule, be like me. I am delicate in public, but ruthless behind the scenes.
A kingdom cannot run on fear alone. With a tyrant on the throne who proved his ruthlessness, the people had no hope. With no hope, there was no work. And with no work, the economy, which Obert Mageba had promised to rebuild at independence, went into a free fall. Those who had the resources did not take to the streets, but packed their meager belongings in silence. The Besapians had always believed that the eNyathini was theirs, a paradise they had conquered. But a paradise built on stolen soil is a prison, and they, the builders, were now its prisoners. The very people who had once called Bisonia cold and gloomy were now packing up to return. The land had finally turned against them.
Let them go. Who needs these complainers? The herd has always been a burden. Let them run to the cold embrace of the Bisopians. I cannot care less. Get me my all-weather friends in Yakjing. It's time to talk. They helped us take the land. Now they help us with the economy. My good all-weather friends, you stood by us when the Bisopians bound our king. You gave us the wisdom to topple the settler regime. Now we have our land back, but the economy is slipping out of our hands. I need help. Okay, I am on my way.
President Kwena loved the skies.
When you rise above your problems, you see the solutions clearly.
But his altitude never brought wisdom.
This is diplomacy, not hiding in the bushes with guns. We talk, they listen, we win.
Kwena sought financial help from the Yaknese. I believed that old alliances were a currency he could spend. But history is a river, and he was about to discover that it never flows in the same direction twice. The Yaknids he had found were not the allies of a bygone era. They were a new kind of predator, far colder and more patient than he could ever be.
We understand your financial needs, Mr. President. The roads and infrastructure are indeed in a state of disrepair. But we have a new way of doing business. We are not interested in promises or sentiments. We require collateral.
What do you have as collateral? The mines, the farms, the rivers, the mineral rights, the people?
Large tracts of land. We have plenty. Take what you need.
But, Mr. President, we don't have land. That's ancestral Benyati land.
I'll change the law. All land now belongs to the presidency. Problem solved.
So we have a deal?
He signed not for the people, but for the plane rides, for the photos, for the praise. And so, without an army, the land was conquered again. This time with a pen and a paper. The new crop of Yaknese was woke. They spoke of partnership, of investment, of a shared future. But they were simply smarter thieves. They did not need an army to take the land. They needed a contract, and the president signed it all away.
They cut down trees older than our memory. Trees that whispered to our ancestors. Yaknese saw only timber. We once climbed that hill to ask for rain. Now it rains dust. Their contract said partnership, but their walls said colonialism. They call it development. We call it desecration. They capture, they loot, and then they repeat. They came with laws, with money, with deals sealed behind mahogany doors, but nothing ever changed. It is still capture, loot, repeat. Even our dead have no peace. The bones of our ancestors now sail to foreign boundaries. just more raw material for a hungrier empire.
In eNyathini, truth became a dangerous thing to speak. One brave Impala tried, he called it what it was, desecration. But in a land ruled by contracts and silence, words like his are not forgotten. They are punished. That night, the fire burned bright, and in the morning, there was only smoke and silence. The land was stripped. The trees fell, the rivers ran dry, the minerals were shipped, and the Benyati got nothing. Only those who sang loudest for the politicians, who bowed deepest for the Yaknese, got crumbs. Crumbs wrapped in gold ribbons. Bentleys and Land Cruisers rolled through townships of hunger. Gold watches ticked in hands that had never tilled the soil. The youth saw. They learned not to build, not to dream, but to kneel, to flatter, to connect. Who do you know? Became the only question. No work, no industry, just politics, just ambition, just hunger wearing a suit and calling itself strategy. And the Yaknese? They were no longer visitors. They became gods, worshipped, protected, feared. Even when they beat the chiefs in their own courts, people cheered. That signature birthed a new pandemic, a sickness of the spirit, the kind no medicine can cure. It was no longer a conquest of land. It was a conquest of dignity. It all started long ago, when King Alfred Merrington came with soldiers and a flag. From that moment, eNyathini never had peace. First, they took by force. Now, they take with contracts. But in the end, they always take. Our gold, gone. Our rivers, poisoned. Our forests, cut down. And our people, left with nothing. They promised freedom. They gave us debt. The names changed. Bisapians, then Yaknese. But the pain stayed the same. Different faces, same knives. Our leaders, they signed papers, smiled for cameras. While our children went hungry, we were told to be patient, told to hope, told to clap. But look around. What changed? Since the day Merrington stepped on our soil, eNyathini has never rested. It's always been the same story. Capture, loot, repeat. Different faces, same knives.
The story can't end here. The cycle has to be broken. Let us discuss how. Subscribe, like, and comment on Banterverse channel on YouTube.